Sometime in the next 7 weeks, Florida Sheriff Grady Judd will sit down at a table, raise his hand, and answer questions under oath for the first time in his 50-year career. It's about a girl his office failed. She was 12. Maybe you remember Judd. 73 surveillance cameras watching your streets. 0 body cameras on his own deputies. He called people who worry about privacy nut jobs and promised his cameras would find lost children. This is the story of a child who walked into his office herself. Hello, it's Sarah from Don't Lie to Me. What happened inside the Polk County Sheriff's Office is the reason a federal judge just let Judd personally off the hook, and why, in 7 weeks, he finally has to talk. And stay with me, because the legal trick that protected him protects officials everywhere. That part matters to you too. Her name is Taylor Cadle. In 2016, at 12 years old, she reported that her adoptive father was hurting her. She did exactly what we tell every child to do. She told the truth to the people sworn to protect her, the Polk County Sheriff's Office. A detective looked at this child and decided she was lying, not just dismissed, charged. At 13, Taylor was prosecuted for filing a false report. The detective who accused her, Melissa Turnage, still works there. They made her write apology notes, one to the detective, one to the man she had reported. Read that again. A child apologizing to the man hurting her with the sheriff's office supervising. This is what they did instead of investigating. The years ticked by, and because nobody investigated, there was nothing to stop what came next. The harm didn't end in that office. It continued in her home. Eventually, Taylor realized no one was coming to save her. So at 15, she saved herself. She set up a hidden camera and filmed the evidence with her own hands. Only then, only when a child handed them proof, did the sheriff's office finally arrest Henry Cadle. Let that sink in. They had a child's word, and they charged her. They had a child's video, and they made an arrest. Same office, same sheriff. That's not a failure to investigate, that's a decision. In 2025, Taylor Cadle was 22 years old and she sued Grady Judd, Detective Turnage, Detective Rushing, and the sheriff's office itself. A federal civil rights lawsuit right there in Tampa. And here's where this story becomes bigger than one county. April 2026. A federal judge ruled the case can move forward. The detectives face trial. The office faces trial. But Judd, personally, dismissed. Not because he wasn't the sheriff. Because of a legal doctrine you've heard me talk about before. Qualified immunity. Quick refresher, qualified immunity is not in the Constitution. Congress never voted on it. Judges invented it, and it shields government officials unless a previous court already ruled the exact same violation unconstitutional. The judge moved Taylor's case forward and still dismissed Judd anyway. If that sounds impossible, that's because it is. Our full video on this doctrine is linked below. Taylor's lawyers wrote that Sheriff Judd's office knowingly encouraged a culture that disregarded people's constitutional rights. And the sheriff's office responds to this child, now a grown woman asking for accountability. They called her lawsuit frivolous. Frivolous. Now here's the part that should keep Judd up at night. Getting dismissed was only round 1. The clock is running. Discovery in this case closes October 19th. Before that deadline, Judd, Turnage, and Rushing can all be called to depositions. Sworn testimony on the record under penalty of perjury, with no press conference to run back to. He has never once answered questions about Taylor Cadle under oath. That ends this fall. 50 years in that office. He's held thousands of press conferences. He's lectured you about safety on camera. He's called critics nut jobs. But under oath, where lying has consequences. On this case, never. Until now. There's a wild card. The judge certified his qualified immunity ruling for appeal so the 11th Circuit can review it. That could restore Judd to the case or lock in his dismissal. But either way, the depositions and the claims against the detectives march on. This case is only getting started. And watch what the lawyers are doing. Because actions speak. Mediation was scheduled for August, then vacated. They'll be required to try again before November 19th. If they truly believed this suit was frivolous, they would have ended it. They haven't, because in a courtroom, unlike a press release, her video evidence exists. So mark the calendar. Depositions this fall. Discovery closes October 19th. Mediation before November 19th. Trial May 2027. Before a federal judge in Tampa. 6 years after a 12-year-old asked them for help, someone finally has to answer for what happened to her. Remember that legal trick I promised? Here's why it matters to you, and not just to Taylor. Supreme Court Justice Sotomayor says this doctrine has become an absolute shield. Her word for what it creates is impunity. Justice Thomas, the most conservative justice on the court, has questioned whether it should exist at all. When those two agree something is broken, it's broken. Qualified immunity isn't a Florida problem. It's the reason officials everywhere can fail you and walk. One more thing. When Judd promoted those 73 cameras, he promised they would find lost children. Taylor Cadle was never lost. She walked in the front door. She told the truth. His office charged her with lying and made her apologize to the man hurting her. The cameras were never the point. Accountability was never the point. And the silence tells you everything. This very month, Governor DeSantis, Judd's own governor, called license plate readers out of control and warned about a surveillance state. Sheriffs across Florida are scrambling to respond. Judd? Nothing. A man who performs for cameras won't answer to his own governor, but on October 19th, he answers to a court. So here's where we are. The girl they called a liar grew up and sued them. The doctrine that shielded the sheriff cannot shield him from a deposition. And for the first time in 50 years, the man behind the podium has to sit in the chair. Now, I want to hear from you. If you had one question for Sheriff Judd under oath, one question on the record, no escape, what would it be? Drop it in the comments. The sharpest ones get pinned. If you believe officials should answer under oath like the rest of us, subscribe and hit the bell because this case is moving fast and I'll cover every filing. Like this video if it kept you watching, and check the description. Every source, every court record linked below. I'm Sarah, and they're lying to you. Take care of each other.